Welcome back, everybody. This is your three-man booth, 9 weeks through the NFL season. I'm Dan Salem with Phil and Bud, and we're going to start today with the LA Chargers, who are sort of my home team, and the news about them moving to London or not moving anywhere. It's very, very amusing.
I was telling you before we started this, I think they should just uncensor everything at this point. It'd be more interesting. It'd be more entertaining. Stop censoring everything.
Well, Bud, you want to share with us what the owner said, because it was great. It was great.
He called it fucking bullshit.
So
that is some response. That is
that response like rung some bells in my head, because generally when you come out with such a strong denial against something, it means that there's actually validity to it, especially in sports. If you just said nothing, I would have said, "Oh, whatever."
But like you said earlier, Dan, like you live there, and 95% of the people that go watch the Chargers games, they're all from the visiting team. It's just all the transplants that live in California from people that are Steelers fans or whatever.
The Green Bay game last week was all Packers. It's crazy.
But we talked about this last year or the year before when they were doing this. This is not going to be successful. It hasn't been successful yet. None of the Charger fans from San Diego want to go to LA because they can't stand the owner and they don't like the team anymore. Nobody in LA likes them because they want to be a Rams fan. And then that's going to fizzle out. They've done this before. I mean, the Rams and Raiders were there for 15 years, 20 years, and all of a sudden nobody wanted to watch football anymore.
Well, I will attest that there were Rams and Raiders fans in Los Angeles before the Rams came back. Like a lot of those fans never gave up on their team, surprisingly, because we didn't have a team, so they kept following the one that used to be here. So the Rams have history. Hold on. Is that just me, or is that audio making weird noises? Can you hear?
Throw your phone away.
Is it me?
My phone?
I think it's interference.
Oh, okay. I moved mine too. San Diego loved the Chargers, loved them, and then they abandoned them. So the city abandoned the. So I don't blame them. It's tough. This is not a forgiving market here.
So the real question is, do you think there's eventually going to be a team in London, and will it be a transplant team or a expansion team?
Well, I don't know how. I just don't know how the NFL is going to make that work, because every team that plays in London, the following week they have a bye. Right?
Right.
So how would you do that? Would you front load that team's schedule and have 8 games in London, and then all the other 8 games would be?
I don't know. I mean,
you're not gonna fly back and forth to London. It's a 9-hour flight from New York to.
Well, I do believe that there will be a permanent NFL team in London within the next 10 years at most, probably 5. And the Atlantic, who threw the Chargers under the bus with this article, and his report said, well, when they have a 17-18 game season, there'll be 2 byes per team, and it'll make it a lot easier. I still don't know if the numbers work out, because nobody has byes the first 3 weeks of the season, so I don't know how you do that.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of traveling. And listen, that game in Wembley Stadium for the Jaguars and Raiders had Texans had 90,000 people. So it's not like they can't support a team over there. They definitely can, but the logistics.
Maybe
unless all the games. Sorry, not to cut you off, Dan. Unless all the games at the beginning of the season are East Coast teams, so that the travel is not as long, so that the teams don't get byes as soon as they come back. Like it's. They fly home and they get a 9:30 game, and then they get on the red eye and they're home, Monday morning.
Well, I'm imagining
Woody Johnson's over in London, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I'm imagining maybe that they have to be on the road for the first 3 weeks until the first bye, and until after the first bye week, so that maybe they never get a home game the first month of the season.
It's possible. They could do it that way too. I mean, I just don't know. After the report came out today, I was thinking to myself, how do they do a schedule?
Yeah.
That, I mean, the Raiders haven't had a home game in 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, they got one Thursday now. You're right. Yeah, it's been a long time.
I mean, that's basically how that schedule would be. I mean, unless you front load all your games up front at maybe you flip it. Maybe all their first games are, like you said, Danny, in America, and then they go to London. That way, the buys start to get incorporated. I don't know. I mean, it's just, especially if you're in London and you got to play. Say you got to play the NFC West, and you got to go to Seattle and play Seattle. I mean, you're on a plane for 20 hours.
And that team in London is going to have their body clocks just messed up.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to get the Monday game to give them extra, and then they'd have to get a bye on coming back. But I don't know how they would do it.
You'd almost have to have two teams in London to make it a little easier.
Yeah, but I don't know. The only thing I say is the Chargers are a good candidate because they just left their city behind and they haven't moved into their new stadium yet, which, I mean, they're going to move into the new stadium next season with the Rams, and it's going to be a really cool complex. I'm not convinced they're going to kill it.
Stadium even close to being done?
Oh, no. It opens next season, beginning of next season.
How close are you to the fires?
They're out as far as I'm concerned. No, I don't know. No, they don't go out, but they stop reporting on them after they've been contained and stop spreading, so I don't know. I was only a mile away from the ones that by the Getty, but after a few days, they were okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You say you make it seem like so like. Oh.
Because this is fire season, and in California we have wildfires, so it's just part of our
fire season.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I almost had to evacuate last week, but we left for the day and then came back because it was okay.
Wait, I have a special guest.
Oh.
I have the cat from last night that was at the Giants game.
The cat that ruined the Giants season? The Jets need a black cat.
I forgot my prop today. I actually went to the grocery store and got a brown paper bag so I could wear it tonight. I literally, until you picked up that cat, I totally forgot. I forgot them in the car. I went to the grocery store. I didn't buy anything. I walked in. I said, "Can I have 2 brown paper bags?" And the guy gave me 2 brown paper bags.
Wait.
Can you please bring those on Sunday?
Yeah, I'll do it. I got to go grocery store tailgating. I got no problem doing
The
it.
Giants are nearly as bad. Would you ever see a Giants fan with a paper bag on their head? Probably not.
No,
right?
because I think we touched on this last week. When you go to your rookie quarterback, like, this is the path you're going to follow. Like, you're not expecting to do anything this season. Like, there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road, so it just kind of comes to the territory when you make that move.
I was saying the same thing last season, but what about next year if it's the same way? That's where we're at with the Jets.
Then that's completely different conversation. But
I just don't think the Giants fans put the bag on. I just don't think they wear the bag.
But I think we're all kind of, piling on Sam's deficiencies right now. I think more importantly, I think what we need to realize is, one, he in a scope, he just finished his first season, right, with actual games played. He's making poor decisions. He's clearly not getting coached. I'm sorry. I listened to the Michael K show on the way home, and they had this knucklehead on, and he's talking about, oh, well, you're just going to have to ask other people. I don't think I've lost the locker room. Michael K says, well, what grade would you give you? And he's like, well, I don't know. You'd have to ask people. Really, dude? You got an F. You are by far in the history of this dysfunctional franchise, this loser football franchise that I have to watch every goddamn Sunday. This is the worst coaching I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
Well,
the picture of him sitting on the bench by himself sums it up.
I loved it. I found it for your article. It was the best. It was the best.
It was the best. The picture you even circled.
I circled it. Yeah.
Just in case people missed this douchebag sitting all by himself. Nobody wants to be coached by him. Nobody.
So I'm gonna come out and go on a limb and say the best thing that Adam Gase will have ever done for the Jets is to get the Joe Douglas hire, because I think he's going to be fired at the end of the season. I really do. I don't think that I don't think there's anything he could possibly do to make this better right now, because the offensive line is such a train wreck. There's no way Darnold improves, and that was his pet project. So
if they lose this weekend, which I think they will, I think they'll lose this weekend. I honestly don't think they stand a chance. There's going to be such an uproar. It's going to be worse than losing to the Dolphins, who are a dumpster fire, awful team right now.
They didn't look too bad, did they? They didn't look too bad.
Wait. This is a team that got beaten by the Redskins, and the Redskins are arguably one of the worst teams in football. I mean, I think there's no argument here. The Jets are the worst team in football.
Well, I agree. Except that there's a high chance that they stumble into another win or two because they have to play Cincinnati, Washington, and Miami. So my brother and I wrote an article about who's going to win the top pick in the NFL draft. And Cincinnati, with no wins right now, has the biggest leg up. I think Atlanta has the hardest schedule. Don't you think the Jets just stumble into at least one more victory between those three teams?
Probably.
I think you're being a little too optimistic, Bill. I mean,
you don't think they accidentally get one win? I think they'll get at least another one.
Cincinnati's awful. They're going to be playing a rookie too. Cincinnati and Washington got rookies.
Guys, nothing about this game on Sunday. They should have crushed this team.
They should have.
Well, the team that beat Dallas would have crushed them.
Okay, they crushed Dallas. Dallas looked awesome last night against the Giants.
I'll be honest, that team is long gone, though. That was like a blip on the radar. Jamal Adams quitting on the Jets destroyed the team because he was their captain. He was their lifeblood. He just quit on them. You nailed it in your article. He was not trying for 3 quarters, and then he realized, oh, wait, this is making me look bad. And he could have to catch up, and then he started getting penalized because he was overcompensating. It's pathetic.
It's just, to me, it's just really, it's ineptitude like I would never even imagine. I didn't think they were going to be a great football team. I had them 9-7 this year, like a lot of the experts did, because the second half of their schedule is easy. The way that they played, I don't see them winning another game. They can't put together 60 minutes of football. The coach can't coach for 60 minutes of football. He can coach one series because those are the plays that they practice the whole week, and they look great for one series. But when the other team has to start pushing back and they have to actually call plays, and this whole bullshit about, I'm sorry, my language, this crazy about penalties and injuries. Stop making excuses, dude. You just can't coach. You cannot coach.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So thank you, Phil, for resharing. I shared my pessimistic view of the season. And the Jets had big holes. And I wrote in there, I go, they have glaring holes at the 2 most important positions, offensive line and the defensive secondary. And I had them go 3-13 in the pessimistic view. I think that's probably a very realistic finish because I do think that they're going to stumble into another victory or two. I don't think they're going to get the number 1 pick.
Tremaine Johnson just got put on IR today, so that's $76 million.
Now,
he played 17 games. He made $34 million.
I can't believe that I can't believe I was a proponent of Mike McCagnon because every single player that he added has gotten hurt or sucked. It is infuriating how terrible his general management was, besides drafting Darnold. And
by the way, Leonard Williams didn't look half bad last night.
No, I mean, he's a decent player. But he wasn't going to stick around.
Throw that out there.
Listen, I told you what the script's going to be next week, and he's going to come out. He's literally going to kill Sam Darnold. The fact that he got up from that hit that he didn't even see coming, I can't imagine why he would want to play football.
Well, so they had he should fake an injury so that he can just not get hurt because that's what I was thinking. It was Bell. It's like, why should he keep playing for this dumpster fire? Maybe he has an injured knee because it's like he's just going to get hurt. This line can't block, and it was a terrible offensive line to begin with, and then it got injuries. And it's just garbage. It's just unbelievable garbage.
Is Gase and Rich Kotite?
What?
Is Gase worse than Rich Kotite? I don't remember Kotite. Do you remember Kotite?
Oh, you don't remember Kotite, dude?
I mean, I know of Kotite. I just don't have a strong memory of him.
Well, the only thing that Rich Kotite gave us was Keyshawn Johnson because they sucked so bad.
See, my first Jets memory is of Keyshawn and Bill Parcells. I guess I have a pessimistic memory.
That was 1997 was Bill Parcells' first year.
And Kotite was the 1-15 year.
I don't remember the Jets before then.
Yeah. And they went like 5-11 or 6-10, and then the following 3 years under Bill Parcells, they did really, really good. As a matter of fact, they probably should have won the Super Bowl in 1998. Yeah. But I mean,
So wait, hold on. You're telling me you remember this? You remember this Jets team before you were 14 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't.
Dan, I'm a miserable human being.
I remember.
There's a reason for that.
So let's jump over the Giants for a second, who once again kept this game real close late into the game, and then managed to make it look like they got blown out on the scoreboard. I have not been watching.
I got a rant about that. So yes, all right. Yes, they lost 37-18. We're not going to count that last touchdown because that was a fumble 6, whatever. At that point, the game was over. It was an 8-point game. I am so sick of this offensive and defensive pass challenging and not being overturned. It's making me absolutely insane. You're going to sit there and tell me that Evan Ingram was not interfered with? He was 100% pass interfered with. Everybody in the booth, Booger McFarland's like, yeah, that's absolutely a pass interference. And that stupid-ass rules official that's in there said, yes, it's pass interference, but they're not going to overturn it. What the hell is the point of having this rule? It's so infuriating. I have this rule, we're not going to do anything about it.
Well, I don't know, and honestly, the Jets got a touchdown called back for a BS penalty that wasn't, and the officiating is just awful this season.
So that's one of the, I think, 5 that they've overturned in the entire year. They're at like a under 5% turnover. What's it called? Review clip. So the point is, this was an 8-point game, right? If you get that call like you should have, you're first and goal. Would it have changed the outcome of the game? Yeah. Who knows? But if you score a touchdown there, the narrative changes completely.
I agree. Now, we all know the officials are on the side of the Dallas Cowboys because they're America's team.
God. And if I have to hear one more Jason Witten love fest, I'm going to puke.
Well, so the officials' bias aside, I looked at my phone to check the score of the game, and it was 16-15 Cowboys with like 2 minutes left in the third quarter. What happened?
So this happened early in the fourth quarter. Giants were driving. They don't get the call on PI. They kick a field goal. They're down by 5. Then in the very next series, apparently Amari Cooper somehow got pass interfered with because he was not touched. A phantom call. And I said, sure, challenge that one. What?
Oh, so Amari Cooper pass interference.
You saw that play. Did Amari Cooper get pass interfered with? Give me a break.
I actually turned it off.
But this was the pivotal series. So if you get the Evan Ingram call like you should have, and you score a touchdown, maybe you're down 1. I'm saying the very next series, Amari Cooper, they call a pass interference on Baker, which he didn't even touch him, and then 2 plays later he scored. Dallas scored again. So that's where the game got blown wide open.
I know that those are the details.
It was a terrible series. It was that sequence of events. Those 2 series, the game was over.
Right. See, the Giants seem to be having 2 series like that every single game in the late third to early fourth quarter, and it's just it's interesting. I'm making this observation that Daniel Jones has been consistently turning the ball over.
Yes, that has to stop.
And it's really hurting the Giants, but they've done a pretty good job of overcoming their poor defensive secondary for 3 quarters.
Nate Solder needs to give back some of the money he's stealing from the Giants right now.
Well, and I saw that Saquon Barkley was not the leading rusher through 3 quarters that Daniel Jones was.
Daniel Jones was.
That's atrocious. He was the leading rusher with 40 yards. This is a Dallas Cowboys team who is not stopping anybody running the football, and Barkley was not getting it.
How much of that is a product of playing, the defense, or how much of that is just coaching and not? I mean, I said this a couple weeks ago on the podcast that
I think it's coaching too. I absolutely think it is.
He's by far their best player, and he's not even getting the ball.
I agree with you.
No,
nobody's telling us, but if he's still hurt, why is he playing?
Well, maybe
the ball. McCaffrey is 95% of the offense in Carolina. Everyone knows he's getting the ball, yet no one can stop him.
And is it because the Giants don't believe that they have anything to play for this season, and they don't want to overwork them, they don't want to hurt them? I mean,
I think
his talent. You're wasting good years.
I completely agree.
I'll say this: there's a part of me that thinks he's not 100% coming back from his high ankle sprain. Remember, this guy came back after 4 weeks when originally this was supposed to be a 6 to 8 week injury. So maybe there's a part of this where maybe he's not 100%. So maybe you don't want to overwork him because you know you're not going to go anywhere. That might hold a little water.
But then he shouldn't be playing, Phil. That's on the coach then. If he's not
100%, put him on the bench.
He shouldn't be playing. What if he goes out and he breaks his ankle and now he's out for the rest of the year and he's whatever. It's.
Well, that's the same thing. CJ Mosley never came back. He just came back for a quarter and tweaked his groin again. Now
I'm just speculating. I don't know if that's true, but
right. Well, so this is bringing up an interesting point because we all root for really bad football teams right now. Do you play to try to get as many wins as possible, or do you just say it's over and you want to get a high draft pick?
I think in the Giants, you got to give these guys as many reps as possible. So to win more games, it's not going to in the long run. You have your quarterback. You essentially have your quarterback of the future. You have your running back. You just picked up a couple guys on defense that you drafted last year and this year. So it's like the pieces are starting to come together. So to tank for the first pick, what reason? You're not going to pick.
I'm not saying you're not first pick. You tank for a top 10 pick because
they're going to get that anyway.
Not if they win 3 or 4 games, they won't, because there are a lot of bad football teams right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be 4 or 5 teams with only 1 victory and 2 or 3 more with only 2. So 3 or 4 wins might kick you into pick 15, 16 this year, because this is like a really haves and have-nots league.
I think for the Giants' case, winning more games is not going to hurt them in the long run. They supposedly have at least a nucleus to build around.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Jets. What do you think? But you wrote this. Worst case scenario, you're not looking for another quarterback next year, are you?
Oh, no.
No, I mean, listen. Here are my concerns with. First off, it's embarrassing as a Jets fan that the first week of November every year we're talking about their draft position. That's how bad of a franchise this is. Okay, that the first week of November goes by and we're like, yeah, okay, let's start figuring out who we're going to pick in the top 5. Tired of it.
Well,
I would say now to answer your question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This GM did not pick Sam Darnold. Now, my fear is that he's not getting coached. He's regressing, and you're just going to pawn him off like he's no good. And we saw, and I know I keep bringing this up, but you saw the same thing with Mark Sanchez, right? He had legitimate weapons around him. He had a solid running game. He was a serviceable quarterback. But then he started taking away all of his weapons, and then you pawn them off as bad, right?
Well, so Sanchez had 2 great seasons where he took the team to the AFC Championship game, and then the team fell apart around him. This is a really different situation.
Yeah, but the team's falling apart around them now, right?
So Darnold, I think there was a good analogy that he's playing like he played his final season at USC, where he's really pressing. He's trying to do a lot more than he should, because the team around him is so awful, and he wants to do more. That's why he's throwing those crappy passes. He's trying to force the ball to make something happen because the team sucks. And so I'm sorry not to cut you off. He literally has a second to throw the football. I know. So this is why I love Joe Douglas as our GM right now, because he's supposed to be an offensive defensive lineman guy. I want the Jets to draft 2 or 3 linemen in the first round if they get that many first round picks, and build a line that can actually protect Arnold and let Le'Veon Bell run the football. That's what they need. They don't have an offensive line. They need an offensive line. Once they have something that's actually passable as a pro offensive line, then I'm willing to evaluate our quarterback. I mean, I think Gase has to go, but I think that Darnold, if he actually is a pro, can overcome this adversity. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. I'm more concerned about Baker Mayfield's longevity. I don't think he has the mental capacity to overcome this terrible season where he failed expectations.
Cleveland looks so bad right now.
Yeah.
And you're finally starting to hear Odell Beckham.
Ooh.
Well, it's amazing that I'm not getting the ball in the fourth quarter. I'm wide open. It's just a matter of time before the lid blows off that team. And with the expectations they had higher expectations than the Jets, and they don't look as bad as the Jets, but they look like a really bad football team.
Well, they only got 2 wins. I mean, I think Beckham has 1 touchdown this whole season, something like that.
It was against the Jets.
Yeah.
1.
So I think that Darnold has the chill factor, the mental fortitude to forget about this in the offseason and start anew next year. I don't know about Mayfield. The jury's out on Mayfield. Now, it's interesting. Like Mishnu's they got benched and he's looked pretty good. But quarterback play is so funny, right? And it doesn't last. So
do you think so? Here, I have 2 questions, and we'll talk about this in the podcast too. Do you think Cam Newton is done in Carolina?
Yes.
That's the headline on ESPN right now. I do. I think they move on. Kyle Allen's playing well.
He's playing really well, right? And do you think, and I know Indianapolis lost this weekend, but I wanted to bring it up last week, and I forgot. Do you think the Colts are a better football team without Andrew Luck?
Well, the Colts lost this week because their quarterback, Brissett, went out hurt.
Right.
So, I do not think that they're a better football team. I think that Brissett is a very good quarterback.
I agree, yeah. No, I agree too. I think they'd be in a lot better spot if Andrew Luck was playing right now.
I mean, Andrew Luck was just whoa.
Do you think Andrew Luck comes back next year?
Probably not next year. Maybe another year.
Really?
I don't think it'll be next year. I think it'll be. I'm saying at least till 2021. You know, an additional year. I don't think this year is. I think it's too quick. I think it's too quick because, and it's also a slap in the face to the Colts too, right? He comes back next year and signs with another team. That's kind of a, you know, screw you Colts kind of thing.
I mean, why would he come back? He retired because he didn't want to hurt himself.
Well, because the athletes still have that burning. And why did Jason Witten? He's over the hill and he came back.
Yeah, but he sucked what he was doing. That's why he went back.
Well, that's true too. But
Luck quit in August. He already went through the whole offseason grind. Like he quit in August.
These guys take some time. They heal up and they're like, you know what? I still have that urge to play, and I think Andrew Luck comes back. I do. I
think he's done, but I think the Cam Newton story of where he goes in the offseason is super interesting because if he's
constantly hurt.
What?
I'm saying Cam Newton is like a walking, medical. He's hurt all the time. Last year he couldn't even throw the ball because his shoulder was bummed.
Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't really played this season, so this is going to be like a full year of rehab. I mean,
he basically has Liz Frank, and this
is a foot injury,
right? I mean, a lot of players that have this injury, they don't come back.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I wasn't familiar with it.
Antonio Holmes had a Liz Frank, and he was never the same player. He lasted another year and a half in the league, and that was that.
That's a good point. Do we? So I want to circle back around because we're talking quarterbacks. The draft class of that Darnold and Mayfield and Josh Allen and Rosen, and the only one that's actually worth a dime, Lamar Jackson at this point.
But before you continue, that's coach
Mason Rudolph too.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph. But you can argue that the coaching staff in Baltimore is better than all those other ones combined.
Oh yeah,
Lamar Jackson. They built that team around him because what was the narrative? That he couldn't throw the ball, which obviously isn't true. But they built that team around Lamar Jackson the right way.
I am so impressed with Harbaugh. Like, I don't know.
He knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing with him down there.
They made the Patriots defense look very, very pedestrian. And to your point, Dan, like, the Patriots defense has not played anybody. I was sold on the Patriots defense, and Baltimore just carved them right up. I mean, they didn't even look like they were competitive. And Tom Brady looked old and slow and fearful in the pocket. Like, he just did not look good. He was making bad throws. His throws were high. He got hit a few times.
Yeah, well, they don't have a dominant running game to protect him with. Like, they just played really bad defenses. So,
yeah.
No, but I thought Lamar Jackson was a really good player coming out, and I thought that all these guys were going to start, and so they all have at some point. But Darnold's hit a road bump. He obviously got a shitty team around him. Mayfield's hit a road bump. Josh Allen is winning, but he's not. He's kind of playing like we expect. He's not doing much. Rosen's on the bench.
Buffalo looks really good though.
They do again, but they've had a soft schedule too.
They have.
They haven't really beaten anybody, so they're benefiting from the same schedule the Patriots are, and they lost to New England and they lost to somebody else. I'm forgetting that they shouldn't have. So, they needed a miracle to beat the Dolphins. The jury's out on Buffalo, but
they're still only a game out of the AFC East.
No, I'm well aware of that. They're in a good position, but the AFC that matchup, it's not. They get to play the AFC North with three bad teams.
So we're halfway through the season now. So who would you think is the biggest surprise, both negatively and positively?
Biggest surprise.
Well, you know what the biggest surprise negatively, because everyone had them winning. So they're by far the biggest negative right now.
Who's that?
Cleveland. They're by far the biggest.
So that's not a surprise to me. So my predictions have played out pretty well. I'm positively surprised. No, negatively surprised in the Chargers. That now that they're in a decent position at 3-5, but I kind of thought that they'd be more on like the 5-3 side. It's still early, but they've surprised me negatively, and I thought the Rams would be a little bit more dominant. But
Super Bowl hangover.
But I saw. I'm surprised. I don't think that the 49ers are going to continue this trend, but I'm not surprised that they're good.
The 49ers haven't really played anybody yet either. They have one quality win. Other than that, who they played?
Yeah, so we'll see how they do against Seattle this week.
That's a test, but that's in San Francisco though.
And I thought Buffalo had a shot to be really good, just like I thought the Jets had a shot to be really good. I figured that the Bears would take a step back. They've completely fallen on their face.
So the next 5 games for San Francisco, they got to play Seattle, Arizona, Green Bay, Baltimore, New Orleans. So these next 5 weeks will be a test. They should be fine with Arizona.
Well,
Seattle is their defense is not nearly what it used to be, but Russell Wilson is just, unbelievable. And then you got to play Aaron Rodgers, you got to play Lamar Jackson, and then you got to play Drew Brees. Those are you'll know if they're for real in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, they could hold firm, or if their division could slip completely out of their hands. We'll see. Interesting. I'm obviously most disappointed in the way the Jets team fell apart, but everything else is kind of played to script. Phil, you were the one that were high on the Falcons. Obviously, that must be your disappointment.
What about
you keep reminding me? You keep reminding me of that every week.
I do, because you picked him in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I'm like, who did I pick in the Super Bowl? I don't want to think about it right now. But
I thought you picked Indianapolis.
I think I did. I think I picked the Colts. Yeah. But who did you have? Do you remember?
I had the Charger. I have it written. I have
the Chargers. Right.
The Chargers, and I think I had the Chargers and the Saints.
Okay. He's got his show notes right next to him. How prepared?
I like it. I think you're right. I think I had the Saints and the Colts. That was with Andrew Luck. So now, I think the Colts will still make the playoffs, but I don't know Brissett if he's going to miss some time. Hopefully, it's not serious. That'll be.
They said he's going to play this week.
Is he against the Dolphins? I thought he might take the.
They said that he shouldn't miss any time. I'm sorry. I had the Chargers and the Bears. I'm going to be wrong on both.
Oh, oof. Yeah, that's wrong.
So who did I have with the Falcons in the AFC?
I was the Patriots, huh? We just couldn't bring ourselves.
You had Atlanta going 10-6, Phil.
No, I know, but who did I have in the AFC?
I think you had the Browns.
I did. Yeah, we know that's not true.
Do we think the Falcons are going to win another game? They got a really tough schedule.
You just saw their only victory against the hapless New York Jets, who didn't even show up. They were.
No. I would say the Falcons. Sorry, I think the Falcons will win another game, not the Dolphins.
The way the Falcons are playing defense right now, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's these teams that only have one win, they almost all play each other, except for Atlanta, which is really interesting to me. I don't know if Cincinnati's going to get a victory because they benched Andy Dalton.
They got to play the Jets.
Yeah, but they're going to have this 4th-round rookie play in quarterback. See, that's the thing that I can't get around on. You guys are going to go to the Giants and Jets game, right?
Oh,
and Daniel Jones, he's been consistently turning the ball over. Is he going to do it again? Can the Jets do it?
The way it's going, you're going to get at least one fumble. Yeah, the way that the last bunch of weeks have been going. Yes, I expect one.
But the Jets have showed if they show up and play legitimate defenses. If they show up and play legitimate defense, they create turnovers, and they're good. They're a good defensive team. But first of all, nobody wanted to play this week. Nobody wanted to play this week. The coaches, it felt like the coaches didn't even want to coach this week.
Yeah, I don't understand this. I agree. I don't understand it. But you think they'd want to play this intercity rivalry game with the Giants?
I'm telling you, if they lose to the Giants, you are going to see smoke.
So will they fire Gase? Will Greg Williams be interim head coach again for the second year in a row?
If they lose to the Giants and they're not even competitive, It's one thing to lose to the hapless Dolphins, but if you lose to the Giants, and regardless of what anybody says, this is a huge game for both franchises. They do not want to lose because this is back page stuff, even front page stuff, right? You don't want to lose to the other team.
4 years ago in overtime.
Oh, you saw him go to overtime a few years ago?
Phil, your Wi-Fi is terrible.
It really is.
It is so bad.
I don't get it. It wasn't this way the first half of the season.
I don't get it either. Whatever.
Do you need a stipend? Do you want me to send you some money so you can upgrade your Wi-Fi?
Do you have unlimited data? You can tether off your phone.
Whatever.
It is awful. You have been a blur this entire show, and your mouth talks.
Maybe I'll put a Giants logo over your face.
Might as well.
All right, so I want the dirt because you're going to be on location. You're going to get to watch our guys in person. Now, maybe it won't be as easy to see it as if we were actually on TV, but you're going to be tailgating, I'm assuming. You're going to be wearing opposing team colors but sitting next to each other. We got to get the insider information here about how these players look, if there is anything to glean.
The most enjoyable thing is going to be spending time with my friends and Lori and just hanging out in the parking lot. So I can assure you that once we get inside the stadium, I'm going to be a miserable SOB. There's no other way around it. By halftime, my wife will not be talking to me. She'll be fed up with me. She'll get into a fight with me in the fourth quarter, and we got 45-minute drive home. I guarantee it happens every time. I get so mad.
You can't drink enough alcohol to make it fun?
No, because then I just get more aggravated. I can't. I've actually decided I'm not gonna drink that much this particular.
You need to try a different medical solution. I don't know, something to make it fun for you.
Either booze or Xanax, Dan, one or the other.
Ooh, pills. I'm not on the pills band. Well, enjoy the game in person, fellas. One of our teams is going to win.
or it ends in a tie.
Oh, that would be a hard.
It'd be terrible.
I guess it's better than losing.
I guess.
All right. See.
All right, fellas.
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.